Spent time as a journalist and then a researcher, studying the issue of environmental sustainability writ large. The question really of whether modern human civilization can survive the scale of activities that we are now engaged in, the kinds of things that I think were introduced in the context of a single city in the case of Paul Chan's talk just now. Last year, my organization, the World Watch Institute, published this book. We publish State of the World every year, and it has a theme, or has had for the last 12 years, and this was this question that was the theme actually of Paul Chan's talk: is sustainability possible, still possible? And I'm a believer that when you raise a question like that, you had better answer it, so I plan to answer it in this address, so please stay tuned. And I'm grateful that the conference has afforded me an opportunity to think about this question of sustainability in a context that I'm not greatly expert on, but admire greatly, which is the ability to construct buildings that become our homes and places of work and business and stand tall for decades and indeed centuries to come. So let me begin with a quotation from the early 19th century English poet and in fact artist William Blake that helps explain my admiration for sustainable building. Blake said, "He who would do good must do it in minute particulars. General good is the plea of the flatterers, for art and science cannot exist but in minutely organized particulars." Lots of people talk about sustainability, but builders have to consider sustainability in minutely organized particulars, in the specifics in designing of a structure and the building of a structure. And you must do this while assuring first structural integrity, obviously, secondly affordability, that's key, and only when you've met these two important needs can you really begin to think about sustainability, which is an incredible challenge to add to those first two, so you have my respect in that. That said, I must also say that I believe that it's difficult to impossible to construct a sustainable building in an unsustainable world, which is the world that we are living in. I'm not sure there are any truly sustainable buildings now. Rather, I believe that sustainable building is an ideal toward which we travel rather than something that we accomplish with any specific structure. Show me a sustainable building, and if I'm able to study it long enough in its minutely organized particulars, I'm likely to aggravate it with illustrations of what there is about not just its operation, but also its construction, its maintenance, its periodic rehabilitation, its future retrofitting, and its eventual decay or demolition that could not be sustained over time if all buildings were built in just that way with just those materials. Now, this isn't to minimize your work, and I don't have any doubt that you're very aware of this, more aware even than I, when you do the work that you do on buildings. But it is critically important to look at sustainability this way if the environment and civilization itself are to last to survive the next century. Rather, this is a plea to get back to precision in language and what we talk about, and how we communicate our purpose in what we do, so that we can accomplish our objectives. It really is a call to a discipline of communication about what we're doing. Now, the concept of sustainability, true sustainability, is essential to the global conversation we need on how human well-being is not only to be attained but maintained for many decades, for as many decades and centuries as we can reasonably imagine. And the issue isn't only our own well-being, but that of nature and non-living beings that are our only known companions